Today's show is action-packed, so buckle up and let's dive into it.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I swapped over to Studio A because, well, we need to studiously look at what's happening. I want to thank everyone for guerrilla supporting the Prepared Mind channel as we transition away from Patreon, not transitioning our genders. We're transitioning away from that and moving to a secure platform where free speech is allowed. That's some pretty important stuff, don't you think? Well, I do. There's a lot of pretty important stuff. Prepping is pretty dang important, don't you think? How many years did you have to suffer? Did I have to hear, John, you're a fraud. SHTF will never happen. That's not how the world works. Yada, yada, yada. BS. We have had it hit the fan, folks. We're in phase 2 of the Great Reset. They started with a pandemic. It's funny how I haven't heard much about anything in the pandemic world. Not since Zelensky. And they dusted off the little Dr. Doom guy and shook him off and spanked him a couple of times and got him out there to scare us a little bit. But they transitioned away from pandemic to Ukraine. And now we've got the elections coming. We've got the big Supreme Court decision. But see, Ukraine is slowly winding down. Still, folks, it's not over. It's not done until the fat lady totally gets done singing. She's singing now. It's over for Zelensky, but they can make the pain last a lot longer, right? Kind of like for me watching one of those MMA fights where they're just grappling on the ground and they're laying there holding each other in such a way that the other can't move or do anything. And while it looks like nothing is happening, they're both exerting huge amounts of force against each other, just locked. It's kind of a gridlock, you know. Well, that's where we're at with Ukraine. We're in a gridlock. Now, Russia, the invader, or Russia, the liberator of abused states by military power out of Ukraine, right? Which Russia is it? Well, it kind of depends on which side you want to believe. Yeah, Russia is the invader, but Russia is also the liberator of abused states. It's both. In any event, Russia was working to reach an accord to demine the harbors, the ports, demine them, to remove the explosive devices in the water so that commercial ships, private, regular, civilian ships could go in, load up with food, and then deliver that food to a desperate world. Imagine, folks, all the families that are praying for the grain, that it can ship out. It can sail from Ukraine and leave safely, relieving their worry and reducing prices on the essence of life. Food is the essence. Without food, you don't live. That's why as preppers, it's food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine means a self-defense. Food, water, shelter, medicine means self-defense, right? Got to have that food. It is, right, the beginning of life, the end of life. You have to have it. So Russia, are they prohibiting that food from getting out, or are they trying to get it out? Well, the other person who's a party to this effort is Turkey. Turkey, ally and NATO member state, second largest military of NATO. Or is it Turkey, the strange buyer of Russian military technology, playing both sides by being a NATO member and enriching Russia through its technological marvels? Nonetheless, folks, Turkey was representing nations who want to cooperate and get this food out of Ukraine, the precious bread of life out of Ukraine, to help feed the terrified children, the moms, and the hardworking people of the world. They need food, folks, and Ukraine has it sitting in their grain silos, stored, not moving at all. Food. And yes, of course, the third party to this agreement, Ukraine. Ukraine has killed this effort, folks. The food supply is at high SHTF levels. The nature of the food supply, the availability of the food supply, the production, the agricultural growth, planting, crops, it's all being screwed up, and Ukraine has stopped it. There it is, Ukraine, taken over by a military coup d'etat 8 years ago, back in 2014, administered by an actor like a stage actor, a play actor, a TV actor, and that's exactly what he was. A puppet of European oligarchs. That's what Zelensky is. The leader has been charged with ensuring the plundering, aka profiting, of Ukraine. Everything is going as prescribed, folks. Ukraine, as a result of its leaders' fealty to these oligarchs, Zelensky's owing of a debt to his oligarchs, his puppet status. Zelensky has decided not to cooperate for the benefit of the hungry children, starving children, women, moms, men, workers, everyone. He's not cooperating. He's broken the deal. Folks, the world is suffering right now because of Zelensky. He is no great leader. The world is suffering because of this conflict in Ukraine and the fact that Zelensky and Ukraine have put mines, explosive mines, in the waterways so the grain can't get out, and Ukraine refuses to remove them. Zelensky is no great leader. He is not a man of peace nor charity. His actions at the behest of his superiors, folks. I know that he is just the puppet, but he's the puppet we're supposed to believe and led to believe by the government and mainstream media is actually in charge. So his actions, folks, at the behest of his superiors, have caused great suffering, right, from the mighty to the weakest amongst us. And what do I mean by mighty? First world nations like the United States of America and the European continent, those nations, they're being brought to their knees over energy prices. Right now, because of this conflict, superpower economies are being affected. How do you like paying for gas at the pump? That has an effect on our food as well, folks. Third world nations are rioting over the cost and availability of food. People are hungry, people are starving, people are fearful, people are mad, and Zelensky sits on his hands. Ukraine, folks, is a linchpin, or maybe the grenade pin, if you will, and it's been activated to cause the dominoes of SHTF to fall. The food supply right now is at high SHTF levels of concern. Being prepared, folks, is not negative. It's positive. It's not fear-mongering. It's facing facts and facing reality. It offers relief from fear, stress, worry, allowing one to focus where mental energy, thought, produces the very best results. Being a prepper, folks. That's why I push it. Sometimes seemingly too much, when it's actually not enough. That's why I've been telling you, hit the thumbs up button. Right? Hit the thumbs up button here at The Prepared Mind. Tell others. They're concerned. They're scared. They're pissed. They're worried. They're fearful. And these are Americans that folks. Imagine that fear, worry. It's concentrated in countries that can't feed themselves. Right? Food supply is a huge deal. Right? The world is being hurt right now. Russia, Turkey, and many, many other small nations, folks, are begging for help to get this grain out of Ukraine. Ukraine refuses, meaning the NATO alliance, the World Economic Forum, the US and EU governments that are complicit in this are refusing. They're supporting Ukraine and encouraging more violence and to not give up, rather than saying it's time to stop. It's time to surrender, Zelensky. Come to terms with it, right? It's time to cede defeat and do what is necessary for the people of the world if you're some great humanitarian leader, right? Nations are begging for help. Ukraine refuses, folks. This is a takedown in all truth of the world. It is intentional, and the power brokers are making this happen. As preppers, though, as patriots also, we can manage better and suffer less. Storing food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, having it ahead of time really matters. Help others see what is happening, and they will realize that they too need to take action and prepare. That's the point of this channel. Not everyone is going to go out there and be a commando. Not everyone is going to go out into the woods or the swamps or the jungles or the mountains or the deserts and survive. Not everyone can do that, but everyone can put some food aside. Everyone can get some water filtration. Everyone can get the proper clothing to make sure that they can survive their particular environments. Everyone can get what medicine and first aid is necessary to help themselves and others in the event they have some serious troubles. And for those serious troubles, also self-defense. Get what you can to defend yourself, whether it's a crossbow, right, or some other self-defense item that is allowed and legal, right? And then prep to action. Prep to action. Get your preps in order, your plan, and then take action by calling, emailing, texting, smoke signaling, carrier pigeoning, whatever it takes to get the message to your representatives in Washington, D.C. and say, enough of the charades, enough of the BS. We know what's going on. Right? Zelensky is a puppet. Biden is a puppet. It's time that we stop playing games with these people and let them know we know what's going on and that we're prepared, right, to tell them so, and that they need to take the right action and give relief to the people who are suffering the most. We understand that the World Economic Forum wants their great reset. The New World Order, the Illuminati want their great reset where everything comes back and they have even more power and more wealth. We understand it. We get it. We're going to fight that on our own, individually, collectively, etc. We'll battle that politically, if you will. But other countries need food. Folks, I don't want to see half the world starved out. I don't want to see a quarter of the world starved out. I don't want to see anyone starved out. That's not up to me, though, is it? Or you? But we know that that's part of their effort. It shows us how evil they are. Share this video with others, folks. Sharing the video. Tell your leaders, your representatives, because they don't lead us, do they? They're truly not leaders. The use of the term leader is a more modern one. Public servants is how they were used to be described. People who work for the government, whether elected or appointed, there are servants. Tell them to do the job. Fix the problems and stop making them worse. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. We'll be back with the Friday free-for-all. It'll be live on YouTube for all to join in. If you want to participate, participate. You got questions to ask, ask. But understand this, folks. Right? We have to get prepared. And it's best to communicate with one another, and trolls are not welcome. This is a sober discussion and look at what is happening in the world, and I'm glad that you're a part of it, a big part of it. Without you guys, we're not here. Now, again, we're going to have our premium services back up very soon, as well as developing an app so that you can contact the show if you're on the premium side or a free side to get the information you want, you need, because chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi. We'll be back.